Hello, friends, and welcome into NBA Now. I'm Tom, that's Jimmy. We're going to dive right in because there's some more breaking news here to kick off today's show. Namely, the Oklahoma City Thunder have made yet another trade. No, it does not involve Russ Westbrook. Instead, it's Jerami Grant going to the Denver Nuggets in exchange for a first-round pick.
Yeah, first-round pick's going to come in next year's draft, so the 2020 draft, which, frankly, Tom, I'm surprised that they fetched a first-rounder for Jerami Grant. Look, I love him, and I think as a player, he's a good player, and he could play, off the bench, or he could even start alongside a guy like Nikola Jokic. A good lob threat, good kind of rim protector because he's so bouncy, but first-round pick seems a little steep until you think about the Nuggets are probably going to be in that 25 to 30 range next season.
So it's not going to be like, oh, they got the number 10 pick or anything weird like that. It's going to be a late first-round pick there. I'll make note for Denver's side of things here. They're acquiring Grant via a trade exception, which came back from way back when, last July, with the Wilson-Chandler trade.
Wow, throwback.
So that one actually was close to expiring.
Right.
So they managed to find a player that fit that mold there. They'll have a cap hit of 9.3 over the next 2 seasons. And Grant does do some good things for you. 13 points per game, shot just under 40% from deep there.
Right.
That's a good bench 3-4, which Denver did need there. Even if Michael Porter's fully healthy, they did need somebody else to help out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grant, those three-point shots mainly come from spotting up in the corner. He doesn't take a ton of them, but when he does, he's become pretty reliable with it. I like the pickup for Denver. This is just another addition to an already pretty deep team. And, we'll see where he slots in, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench. But I like the pickup, and I love that, Denver's going for it right now.
I'll make note here with the Thunder as well. This saves them $39 million in salary and tax.
Yeah, that's
Go figure.
I mean, that's the whole goal of their summer at this
yeah.
point. Now that Paul George is gone, and we'll get into some Russell Westbrook stuff later, but now it's saving money.
So this is their, current lineup. SGA, Russell Westbrook. I don't think they'll both be playing together because we'll get to more into this later, but I don't think Russ is going to be on this team for the entire season there. So maybe it's like SGA, Ferguson, maybe they just throw out Darius Bazley or something. I don't really know. The team is very much in a rebuilding stage here.
Yeah, and look, they did get Gallinari out of that Paul George trade, who we would assume is going to step in as the starting forward position, starting power forward, which is frankly a little bit confusing to me because Gallo is 30. He is on an expiring deal. I would think they'd still look to move him, but I guess not now.
And Denver, meanwhile, their starting five still going to be the same there, but their bench took a bit of an upgrade here. Still have Monty Morris, who is a fine backup point guard.
Absolutely.
We'll see what Michael Porter does,
Right.
if anything, this coming season. Jerami Grant there, he'll play plenty of minutes. Maybe not as the full-on sixth man, but as like that 7th, 8th guy.
Yeah, I like it, but I can't believe you don't have Bol in there as the backup center, and you have Mason Plumlee instead. That's just a shame.
At
just
me
a shame.
on Twitter at all__things MAVS.
Oh.
All right, so who won the trade here? Type N for the Nuggets and T for the Thunder. Who do you have winning this one?
I'm going to give it to the Nuggets because it's a win-now type player that kind of bolsters their bench. And frankly, giving up a first-rounder that's going to be a late first-round pick isn't all that big of a deal for a team competing now. I think both teams got what they wanted, though.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a win-win, but I'm actually going to give it to the Thunder there. So
Okay.
get a first-round pick back for Grant, I thought was a pretty good haul there.
And shed the salary is pretty nice.
Although I am very much in the minority as I see
Yeah.
these votes flow in, everyone voting for Denver almost.
Wow, okay,
Like,
that's a little surprising.
That's 80-20, I think.
I'd agree with you there.
All right, folks, let's move down to Russell Westbrook. Is he going to be a goner for sure? ESPN reported from the Summer League that pretty much every NBA-connected person there, the execs, the coaches, everybody thinks Westbrook's gone.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet at this point. It's not only coming from the Thunder side, looking to move players, looking to shed salary. It's coming from Russell's side as well, and his agent. They've talked to the Thunder. They're looking to see what they can do going forward, and I think that includes moving him to a win-now team because the Thunder, frankly, aren't that anymore.
Russell coming off a triple-double average season, although efficiency remains to not be the name of his game. Shot under 30% from deep, and there are still those games, and it drives me insane because he's awesome to watch, but there are other times where Russ goes hero mode and chucks up a 3 and airballs it.
Yeah, it's tough to watch sometimes, especially if you are a Thunder fan, because you want Russ to succeed. Like, he is your MVP. He is the guy that is stuck through all the crap that the Thunder have had to go through with Kevin Durant and James Harden and everybody else. Russ has been there, but he's not the same efficient triple-double kind of guy he was.
All right, so who will trade for Russell Westbrook? Let us know in the comment section. We'll give some shout-outs here. And stay tuned, we'll have a little bit more in-depth there. Let's see what we got rolling a little bit more in-depth. I see Pin Bob Sponge says the Pistons.
Someone says the Hornets, but they have their point guard in the future in Terry Rozier. Why the heck would they need to trade for Russell Westbrook?
Gab says the Magic. There's the Heat votes. Pistons, Knicks, Rockets, Bulls, Miami, Spurs.
Ooh, Spurs is an interesting one.
Pistons, Lakers, which doesn't make any sense unless they want to trade Anthony Davis or LeBron James, which they're not going to do. Magic, Pistons, Spurs, Heat, Rockets, Lakers. All right, folks, those are the votes flowing in. We saw the Knicks mentioned as a fit there, and I do think they make sense. One big hurdle, though, is they can't do this deal until December 15th because they don't have the money involved to ship it out until those players that they signed, Randall, Portis, Gibson, so-and-so, and so-and-so, until they reach that December 15th when they're eligible to be traded.
Yeah, and then it becomes the bigger question of, is Russ willing to wait that long, and are the Thunder willing to wait that long? Because does everything kind of get more and more toxic in the Oklahoma City organization the more that Russell's there, and he doesn't want to be there, at that point. So the Knicks kind of have to, they can't do anything. They're just playing this waiting game, and the Thunder are waiting for them, I guess.
Again, the Knicks could put together some package involving multiple of the Knicks 6 guys they signed.
Right.
Probably not Randall, but like Ellington, Portis, Gibson, some combination of them and Bullock all actually do make sense in the end as actual pieces going out, makes the money work, and then maybe you throw in some first-round picks and or like a Dennis Smith Jr. or something.
Yeah, I could also see something like a Kevin Knox maybe going out that way, something like that. But it's tough for the Knicks, man. Like they just
wait.
They just have to play the waiting game, and they can't afford to. I don't know if the Thunder can afford to either.
All right, folks, so make sure you are subscribed to us here. We'll keep you updated on all things Russell Westbrook. Make sure you are subscribed. We passed the 125K mark. It's time for the awkward high five. Nailed it.
Oh, our hands went out of the screen.
Exactly.
Man,
that's why it was
more
awkward. Yeah.
Golly.
I tried to do it by myself yesterday because you weren't here, and it was really, really awkward there.
I'm back now, Tom.
But get us to 130K, folks, and we'll keep you updated on all things Russell Westbrook because the NBA gods taketh away Kawhi Leonard, and they give us a potential Russell Westbrook trade.
Of course they do.
Let's move then to Tyson Chandler. Could the Rockets be a fit here, Jimmy?
That's the noise. They need a backup big, desperately need a backup big.
You're saying it's not Deontay Davis?
It's not Deontay Davis. Nene's long gone. Look, Tyson Chandler, still a productive player when he gets minutes. He's got those offensive tip-out rebounds that he does, and he protects the rim. Look, he's a 10-minute-a-night kind of guy at this point in his career. The numbers don't stick out to you. He played a little bit with LA last season. I like him as a backup, but if he's your starting center going into next season, because if they look to move Clint Capella, then I have some big question marks for the Rockets.
Veteran present. I see Gav saying Tyson should stay with LA, but I don't even think he or either side wants to because they have Boogie, Anthony Davis, and they brought back JaVale McGee. So
yeah, doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to stay in LA. But hey,
this is the Rockets' big move.
I mean, look, the Rockets are the most dysfunctional team in the league right now, I would argue.
That's weird. The Hornets exist.
Well, that's also true. I would say from a player standpoint, they are also dysfunctional. Okay. And Tyson's kind of a glue guy. He's always kind of been known as that glue guy in the locker room. So maybe that's their big reason for wanting to go get him.
And Chandler does fit pretty well with Chris Paul. Those two know each other. There were clearly issues last year with CP3 and Harden. If you bring in Tyson to be your backup center instead of Davis, you're not going to have him play very much. But as a locker room guy, I think that actually could make some sense there.
Yeah, I think that's your biggest reasoning for wanting to go out and get a guy like Tyson Chandler at this point in his career.
Let's go back to some more trades here. The Chicago Bulls continuing to shop Kris Dunn, including a potential sign-and-trade they discussed with Memphis's Justin Holiday, which I find hilarious because Chicago traded away Holiday last year at the deadline. Now they want to pull them back in.
Yeah, look, Kris Dunn, I mean, they just cannot find any kind of trade for him. They have been shopping. It's like when my mom sends me to the grocery store and she's like, hey, go get this stuff. And I have no idea where to find it. So I'm walking around the grocery store for like 2 hours.
That's still me.
That's kind of what they're doing with Kris Dunn. Is like, hey, we're still looking for a place to send him off to. We're shopping around, and nothing's coming to mind for them.
The Bulls are clearly out on Dunn. Once part of the main reasons why they dealt away Jimmy Butler. Of course, they got Zach LaVine too there. But Kobe White is their new point guard of the future.
Yeah.
And they could use another wing-type player to help back up Otto Porter. Holiday would be that guy.
Yeah, and he stretches the floor, and he's a good defender. I mean, Justin Holiday is actually really good. He's just been stuck on all these bad teams. I think on a good team, he could be a really, really solid player and kind of blossom a little bit more. But hey, if he goes back to Chicago, which is ironic because he was just there like you mentioned, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Classic Chicago trying to bring back in the old players. Not the first time they've done this.
But it doesn't make sense for Memphis to make that trade at all. I mean,
No.
look, I know it's a sign-in trade and maybe you get something back for Holiday, but you
get
have
Kris Dunn.
you have Ja Morant. You just signed Tyus Jones. Why the heck do you want Kris Dunn?
Yeah, so we'll break more about Memphis here because they're also involved in other various moves going on right now. But folks, type first if this is your first time watching Chat Sports. We know most of you are longtime watchers here, and we appreciate that. But if it's your first time, type in first in the comment section. We'll give some shout-outs here as well if it is your first time. Also, Jimmy, I love everyone. They're all typing in Zaza.
If they're typing,
right now.
if they're typing Zaza, they're definitely not watching their first Chat Sports video. They know good and well what they're doing.
Morse says it's his first. A lot of people typing in other numbers there. We appreciate their Tintin, first time watching. Okay, let me slow it down here. Sweet Honey, Tuzzy B, Trev Hawk Trev. It's a fun name right there. Tony Stark says first. Thought you were dead.
Man.
Oh wait, no, that's Tommy Stark. Sorry. I thought
Is it? Oh, I thought it was Tony
Tam.
too.
It's a little bit far away. Jacob Rudder, your first time there. I love food but don't like you. Okay. Lamb first time. Estella first time. Thomas Gross first time. Des B first time. Dan Wiz first time. Thank you all very much. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way, if it's your first time watching. We do all kinds of shout-outs and great stuff here on Chat Sports. Now, one of the reasons why it might not make sense for them to do the Kris Dunn deal, they've put in an offer sheet with Tyus Jones, who is currently an RFA with the Timberwolves.
Yeah, look, Tyus Jones, I guess, is kind of their replacement for Delon Wright, who they just sent off. He was their backup point guard last season. And so they go out and they throw an offer sheet at Tyus Jones. But 3 years, $24 million, I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis matches, or Minnesota matches for him, because he did have a pretty good year. He's just, I still don't know what Tyus Jones is in this league. I mean, a backup point guard, obviously, but that's it. He's undersized. I don't know. It's kind of like, whatever, you know? I feel like it's an overpay.
3 years, $24 million. I know Minnesota wanted to bring back Tyus Jones. Now, they do have the option to match. Once that's officially signed, which I don't believe it is yet, they have 2 days to make a match there if they want. Problem is, this deal would put Minnesota just $1 million below the luxury tax line. I don't think they want to be paying the tax if you're Minnesota, when, frankly, you're probably not going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. But, you know, I guess it does make some sense for Memphis to go out and get him after they just traded Javon Carter, got rid of Delon Wright, or let him walk, I guess I should say. And then they traded for DeAnthony Melton, who apparently they really liked, trading with the Suns, and then now they're going to go get another point guard, so maybe they didn't like him all that much.
Now, you mentioned it there. Delon Wright has left Memphis. He's going to Dallas on a sign and trade. It'll be 3 years, $29 million. What do you make of this, Jimmy?
Look, Dallas made their offensive move with a guard in Seth Curry, and then they had to go out and get a defender because they wanted Patrick Beverley. It didn't work out. So I guess you get the great value brand of Patrick Beverley in Delon Wright. I think the best way I've seen Delon Wright explained is he's Lonzo Ball without LeVar. Which, if that's what he becomes, then the Dallas Mavericks get a bargain. You know, they needed a starting point guard who could play defense. That's what Wright does. He's just not a shooter. They had to spend their money somewhere, so this is, you know, what they spent it on.
It's a pair of second-round picks going over to Memphis in this deal here. For the Mavs, you give up the 2 second-round picks. Yes, this also eliminates any possibility that Memphis is gonna match, which I think Memphis had kind of leaked that they might, and help kind of force, hey, they got assets back, and the second-round picks are not going to be that high. But it's more assets for Memphis as they continue their rebuilding process.
Yeah, absolutely. I would expect those second-round picks to have some protections on them as well. We don't have the full details on them quite yet. But look, the Mavs get their starting point guard most likely. And in all reality, Luka Doncic is your quote-unquote point guard. He's going to be doing the ball handling responsibilities. What you needed next to him was a guy that could defend other point guards, and that's what Delon Wright can do. Of course, you could also slot in Seth Curry as a starter, Justin Jackson, Dorian Finney-Smith alongside him. Pretty good pickup, I would say, for the Mavs because that's what they needed, but obviously they could have done a lot better.
All right, so grade the Mavs free agency moves, A, B, C, D, or F. I am scared to ask you.
I'm going to let you go first.
It's like a C or a D. Like, you had all this money to spend. The pipe dream was we're going to get Kemba Walker and Al Horford. It's okay, we'll get something else. Okay, we botched this Heat trade. Cool, we had all this money, and we've got Goran Dragic, and we didn't get Goran Dragic. We've got Delon Wright, we've got Seth Curry, and we've got Boban. Who needs Patrick Beverley or anybody else out there? It's a C or a D.
If Yeah. It's
Okay.
I'll give it a C+. I'm gonna go a little bit higher because I think they addressed needs. I think that was the biggest thing, and they got those guys. I would say they got those guys, or at least Seth on a bargain. So I'm gonna go C+ for the Mavs.
Okay.
I think I see mostly C+ rolling in.
I see mostly C's and D's. People type in Z's. I don't even know what that ends up being.
Someone typed in Boban, so yeah, that's all you need to know. Boban itself
Zaza,
was an
true.
A+ signing.
Oh,
That's
it's a Z.
all I
It's a
know.
Z for Zaza. I get it now. I get it.
I see. What you
All right,
mean
let's move then to Kevin Durant, who's changing numbers. No longer KD Trey 5. He's now KD Slevin.
But, like,
Or 7 Durant.
yeah, like what are you doing? Like his whole brand is built around the number 35. He's worn number 35 in college and all of like the NBA.
He's always worn number
Like there's
35.
no reason. Now he's just living in Joe Johnson's shadow, who wore number 7 for the Brooklyn Nets. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going for here. It's just people are going to be criticizing him even harder because he's got to live up to Joe Johnson's expectations.
Now I will make note. This, by the way, was during Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Durant wearing number 7. He planned it, guys. He was gone. Confirmed gone the entire time.
What else could that hat be about? Like, does anybody actually know what just wearing that hat is? Is it like a brand? I literally have
He's
no
a
idea.
fan of the movie 7.
Is that a movie?
Yes, it's a. You ever heard of the movie 7?
Nope.
Pretty noteworthy movie, Jimmy. Okay.
Is it old?
You're showing your age, I guess. That's fair enough there. All right, so folks, is Kevin Durant a snake? Use the snake emoji. Is he a snake?
He's not a snake for this move, but he is a snake in general.
Once you're a snake, you're always a snake, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, he is a snake. I'd be typing in the snake emoji if I had it readily available.
Weird. Normally, I do see snake emojis here, and there are no snake emojis yet. You guys are disappointing me here. There we go. There's some in there. Michael, Derek's got him in there. There are the snake emojis. Absolute snake. Who's a bigger snake, though? KD or Kawhi?
It's Kevin Durant. It's
agree.
Kevin Durant. Nah, never mind. We won't get into it yet.
All right, some more moves here. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson going to the Raptors on a one-year deal as they continue to try to fill the void of Kawhi.
Look, they got him. They got Stanley Johnson. They basically.
Who needs Kawhi?
I mean, they literally signed 2 guys that are like, hey, go out and prove yourself and try to get some. Like, they're both defensive potential kind of guys. I like Hollis-Jefferson.
I don't.
You don't?
For one reason. That 4th number.
Yep.
That's brutal.
It's not good.
That's not a center.
It's not good.
That's a small forward shooting 18% from deep.
Okay, I like Rondé Hollis-Jefferson's defensive ability
fine.
and potential.
That's fine.
Whew, woof.
All right. So could you shoot 18.4% from three-point range in the NBA? Yes or no?
Like in NBA games, or if I'm like on an NBA court, just in an open
No,
gym?
you're playing an NBA game. You're playing the role of Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. Let's not kid ourselves here. They're going to leave you wide open. They're not even going to bother guarding
Oh, then
you.
heck yeah. Yeah. Don't even, yeah.
Lots of no's coming.
I'll say-
I appreciate you guys being honest here.
I'll say 20%. I think would be what I shoot in an NBA game. If I'm
Now
left
here's
wide
the
open.
question. Rondé took about 1 per game.
Oh golly.
So if you get 1 per game, could you do it?
The jury's out. I have no idea. I really don't think I could. I'm gonna say no. I'll be halfway realistic and just say no. I'm like a whole foot shorter than anybody in the NBA, so.
So if they get near you, it's getting blocked.
Yep, I'd have to shoot a high arcing rainbow shot to get that to go in.
Good votes flowing in here. Yeses and no. Keep them coming, folks. The Raptors, meanwhile, you got Stanley Johnson, you got OG, Hollis-Jefferson. I think you should bring back Patrick McCaw, frankly, but is this a playoff team, I guess? Is the big
Yeah, I think it is, because Kyle Lowry is still a starting caliber point guard. Marc Gasol is still really good. Pascal Siakam's going to probably take another big step. If he doesn't, now that's a whole other conversation. But right now, in the East, it's at least a playoff team.
All right, folks, let's get to the Milwaukee Bucks then. Another Antetokounmpo's going to Milwaukee in what is literally just a nepotism signing, Jimmy.
120,000%. They're literally just gearing up for 2021 NBA free agency when Giannis is going to be entering unrestricted free agency should he not sign his extension before then.
This is why all the Antetokounmpos get drafted.
Exactly. Kostas on the Mavs. Thanasis now, I think that's how you say his name, now with the Bucks. He played with the Knicks for a little while, I know, and didn't really do
He
anything.
was drafted by the Knicks, had a 10-day contract, and then he was playing over in Greece last year. Didn't do anything. He's not going to play for them, but you probably want to keep your superstar player by having his older brother on the team.
Now, here's another wild theory that I came up with. What if Giannis and Kostas really just want to beat their older brother one day? So they team up somewhere else one time, and this is just to spurn the Bucks for actually bringing on the other Antetokounmpo.
give up on your Giannis to the Mavs pipe dream.
I didn't say the Mavs. That's why I said
No,
they
we know.
team up somewhere else.
We know what
That's all
it
I
is.
said.
We know what it is
Should've
there.
had
But
him back
that's
in
the latest
2013.
NBA news and rumors for you guys, folks.